Are you a mechanic or a DIYer looking for an all-in-one next-gen professional scanner with expandability capabilities? Well, this Launch X431 Pro Elite might be exactly what you're looking for. It features a full system diagnostics, true bidirectional functionality, ECU coding with hidden feature unlock, and over 37 special reset functions. So let's check it out. Alright, so I'll be jumping straight into this unit and showing you the functionality, but if you want to see the unboxing and kind of what I think about the exterior of the unit, which is actually really nice, do stick to the end as this will be the last part of the video. Once everything is set up and you have entered the serial number and the pin code that they provide, you can go to software updates and just update all of the software. It's actually pretty quick and it does a good job of doing it on its own. You don't have to deal with it in any way. Also, look at this beautiful 8-inch display. Wow, it looks really nice. So this is like high quality tablet type of display, not some junky stuff that we've seen in the past. It also runs on Android 10, which is newer than most of the other scanners, so that's really good to see. It also has a 6,000 milliamp hour, so it should last hours and hours. And as you can tell by this red LED, the tablet does charge itself when it's plugged into the car's OBD2 port. So that's kind of cool as well. Now, what else? Well, it does have newer hardware just in general, so it works fairly fast. It's also using newer technology to connect to the vehicle, so scanning and things like that are a little bit faster. Now, there are tons of features in here, so it will not be able to get to everything, and some of them do require additional modules. So, for example, if you go to this toolbox right here, we can have an oscilloscope, we can have some multimeter and immobilizer programmer, video scope. This device is capable of all of these things, but you will have to have additional items. So this is definitely meant for expanding functionality, and this being your main diagnostics tool in your shop. So that's kind of the idea, but it also has a camera right here, so you can record things and maybe save some videos when you're diagnosing a car and send it to your customers. A few other things in here, but we're not really going to be worried about that part. What we are really interested in is mostly intelligent diagnose, local diagnose, and service function. So let's start with these first two. Now, you might think that these are very different. They're not. The main difference is that this will auto-VIN, so this will automatically figure out what the vehicle is. This one will ask you like which vehicle you actually want to scan. So this kind of shows us all of the stuff that this supports. Basically any vehicle that's been manufactured in the last 25 years. So yeah, you're going to be able to scan almost any vehicle. You're not going to be able to potentially use all of the functions, as some are, some vehicles just don't have the availability or the functionality. But yeah, you would go into BMW and then select what you want to do. And actually, if we do that, it's going to tell us what we can do with the BMW software. For example, we can see what kind of ECUs or modules or systems are covered or supported by this vehicle. We can see some of the basic functionality in here. We can also see the special functions that are available for BMW, so you can see each one, and they describe what can actually be done on most of them. So very useful information there. And if you click OK, it's going to scan the vehicle for you and figure out what it is. But if you don't want to do those steps, we can simply go back. So I'm going to exit out of this. Yes, very loud. And go to intelligent diagnosis or diagnostics or diagnose, and this will actually connect to the VCI, which is done through a cable, read the VIN, and then figure out if this is a BMW or Mercedes or whatever it may be, and then actually connect using the correct software. Pretty cool. And there you go. And we were presented, so we have all the information on the vehicle. We have it's a 2020 BMW X7. Yes, it's a 3-liter straight 6 engine, and it's going to tell us what software it's going to use, which is great. And we can go to scan history and see what other vehicles have been scanned using this software, and then we have it right there. It shows that I had some DTCs or the codes, and we can also do quick access, but we're not going to do that. We're going to click on diagnostics and let it load. And as you can see, it's very quick. This is much quicker than most of the other units I have used, even the expensive ones. Yes. So this is working much faster and communicating with the vehicle much faster. The reason I'm talking through all of this and not skipping, because I want to show you how long it actually takes. So now we have read the information from the ECU. It gives us a little bit more information, the engine information. So it's a B58. That is correct. I'm going to hit next. And now it's telling us to put the car in diagnostics mode. I'm gonna keep the car running just because I want to stay cool. It's kind of hot outside. But once again, let's see how long it takes for it to actually scan all of those modules. This is usually a very lengthy process, probably 2 to 3 minutes on some scanners, a minute or so on the better ones. Let's see how long this one takes. And there you go. It's just flying through them. And this car has a lot of modules. So this car probably has like 30 systems and like 50 modules. So it's a lot of different computer pieces to scan and then display for us. And there you go. Right away, we're presented with more information. So here we can go to health report. Health report, well, let's see what it does actually. So it's going to scan the individual modules more deeply now and get the information like the codes for each one of them. As you can see, it's still very fast. So if you're working in a shop, this will save you a lot of time. And what we can do here is we can create a report. So we'll have all the information pre-repair. So that's very nice. Yes, okay. We can provide the shop name, all the other information. I'm just going to click OK and skip some of that information. And there you have it. We have all of the info on the vehicle, each code just right here under the modules. And then you have all the other modules that didn't have any issues also. Very cool. And then if you are connected to the internet, you can share it and, save it to the local device as well. Very impressive, very fast, and it works great. And see, now you can share it now that you've saved it. What else can we do in here? Well, lots of stuff. We can also compare results to previous scans that we've done to see what has changed. We can clear all of those codes from the vehicle, from every single modules, which we'll do in just a second. But we also have a few buttons here at the top. So you can end the functionality here at the top. You can print it. So if you connect a printer to this, you can do that. You can get some help. But I'm just going to clear the DTCs and let it get rid of all of them. So what this will do is clear the codes on every single module, rescan that module, and then show us if there's anything else left. Why would you want to do that? Well, if you repaired some stuff, you can then go in, clear everything out and see what's left, and then you know what needs to be fixed after. This, of course, can take some time as it has to go to each module, clear the codes, and then actually rescan everything. And there you have it. All of the codes are basically gone now, and we just have a couple of codes remaining. And yes, this is true. I do need to replace the brake pads in the rear, although I've checked and there's still a decent amount of left, so I'm just waiting for that to wear out a little bit more before I do the job. But yes, you can see the remaining 2 codes. Very cool. And of course, we can enter those modules as well. So you just click on enter, gives you a little bit more information on the module. We can hit continue right there. And now we have information about the modules. We can have module information. We can read the code. So that's the one that we just had. We can also search it in the internet. We can see if there's a freeze frame of it. We can create a report based on this code. Of course, we can clear the code, but it's not going to do anything because this is a permanent code. So if we go back, it's back, right? It says permanent, not intermittent or stuff like that. We also have read data streams. So we can get data from every single module on this vehicle and basically on any vehicle. This is so cool that this does that. Of course, there are a lot of other scanners that can do this, but this will do it in any vehicle and any module besides everything else that it does. So if we select, I don't know, something simple like steering wheel heating, we can select all of these PIDs, hit OK, and now we can see that it says not operated. So if I press the button on the steering wheel, it says switched on. Did you see? It's so quick, it just shows up right away. And now it's telling us how much amperage is being used for this function. So I'm just going to press the button now, and it's right away. It's basically instant. I don't see a difference. Very, very cool. Of course, we can graph stuff. So if I press that, there you go. It went to 6 amps. Press down, up, there you go, and it's graphing for us. And the amazing thing is that this can do 12 different items on the same graph. Most of the scanners will do a max of like 3 or 4, maybe 5 values per graph, so that's amazing. But anyway, you can see how many different items is just on this one module in this system. Of course, we can also go to actuation testing. So this will allow us to trigger basically any button, any sensor, any relay, anything you want on the vehicle, which is kind of amazing. So we can go to exterior mirrors and we can fold them just from here. So as an example, I have zoomed out and I'm going to activate this, and you can see the mirrors are folding in, right? And I'm going to stop it and they're going back. How cool is that? And you can do this on so many modules. You can do that for the horn, you can do that for the injectors, you can do it for the water pump, you can do it for your fuel pump, you can do it for basically anything on the vehicle that's supported. Super, super cool, and this is your bidirectional functionality. Going just a little bit back, we can see all of the stuff that we can manipulate on this module, like power window functions, lane change warnings, central locking systems, everything. So we can, for example, unlock the tailgate, top or bottom, unlock the vehicle, deadlock the vehicle, all these things from this unit, which allows you to do really, really good testing and troubleshooting when things do go wrong and when we're working on the vehicle. Now we can exit out of that. So this was just a health report. System scan, it's kind of the same thing with basically less information. You can still go to each module and get that all the information that we just saw, but it scans it a little bit faster, so you can see what's happening, like what are the modules on this vehicle, and then you can go directly into each one and do more with it. You can also go to system selection if you like and just go and select the module that you want, so you don't have to scan the entire vehicle, because you can see how many things there are on here. You can just do one at a time, the one specifically that you're working on. Next, we have special functions. So this will be this is like OE functionality that you would get from BMW's computers, right? If you go to drive, here's everything that you can do on this car, right? You can activate the fuel pump control electronics, you can reset adaptation values, adjust electromotive throttle control, fuel grade recognition. I mean, look at all this. You can enable expert mode, Lovetronic lift adaptation, engine oil quantity, so you can like measure the oil from here. You can reset the starter lock, you can reset VTG and calibrate it, replace the control unit. This will allow you to actually program new control units in. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Starter exchange. So yeah, as you can see, there is a ton of functionality in here, and that was just in drive. You can, of course, go to chassis. You can even adjust the air suspension on here, so we can, adjust the air spring. We can adjust the vehicle height and pressure, and look at all the sensors, brake fluid renewal, brake bleeding routines. So if you're changing the brake fluid on this, you can do that with this scanner. Of course, we have even more under body, so all of this stuff as well. Look at it. All of this stuff is available to be done on just this vehicle, and it's going to be different on different vehicles. And one thing to mention that I will not be able to show you is FCA AutoAuth. So I'm not very familiar with this, but basically it's a Stellantis diagnostics tool that allows non-dealer technicians to perform secured functions. So for vehicles like Chryslers and Jeeps and Dodges and Fiats and Renaults and things like that. It also has a guided function for the VAG group cars. Personally, I don't have access to any of those, but that is some really impressive functionality from what I understand. Back to BMW though, we have also driver assist, so you can calibrate and work on these items as well. So for the 360 camera, for the heads-up display, I don't actually want to click on these because this will calibrate the thing, so it will reset them. I don't want to do that. Lastly, we have maintenance, so this will allow you to do some service corrections and reset dates and times and things like that. And I'm not going to go to anti-theft system because this does require one of those immobilizer units that I don't have to show you. But yeah, if that's something you guys are interested in, I might be getting some of those additional extension modules that this supports and showing you that functionality. But yeah, do let me know. I don't want to, spend a bunch of time working on that if nobody's interested. But what we do have here is ADDAS, so this is going to be for your safety systems, all the sensors and things like that. So there's a few items in here. We can do the scan. So if we press on that, it's going to scan all the systems that are related to that. So you can see those are right there. So we have like the camera base, the parking assistant, the 360 cameras. We can also just go in and select one of those if we like, or we can also look at some of the special functions. So we can reset the calibration in here, or we can also do the heads up picture geometry. I'm not going to be touching that once again because this will actually like reset modules on this vehicle and it's running, so that'd be kind of not smart to do. But yeah, so if you go into one of these, we can enter one of these modules. You can also go to the camera-based driver assistant, and here we have the steering wheel vibration controls, we have the cameras, we have the heating for the camera. Just look at all the stuff that you can work on. It's impressive. Yes, these vehicles are very, very complicated, but this makes it a lot more approachable. Now, lastly, we're going to talk about coding and programming. So what is this? Well, this allows you to go into each module and change the personalized items in each one of those. Why would you do that? Well, for example, if you don't want to have the little pop-up on your screen that says, hey, you're in reverse, be careful because you're reversing. I'm like, yes, I know I'm in reverse. Or if you turn on the navigation and gives you a warning, you can remove those, for example. Or you can enable features that are not available in your country. For example, folding in the mirrors, you can do that. Or you can enable your key fob to lower the windows if that's not available in your country. There's a ton of different things you can do in here, and that once again, every single module is available to be coded. As an example, let's just jump into instrument cluster and see what kind of functionality we have in there. Yes, make sure you definitely back up your modules before you make any changes, because obviously that could be, you know, not good if you mess something up. But yeah, here are some of the changes you can make, and this is very, very in depth. So you definitely want to do your research and see what kind of stuff you want to do. But you can change the default values, for example, on the brightness of the instrument cluster or the heads-up display, or at which mileage you're going to be alarmed that the fuel is low. That's actually something I'll change in my other cars, because I hate when it tells you at 60 miles or 50 miles that you're out of fuel. Like, I know. We can also change the style of things. We can change to like Alpina or M Sport logos if you want, or you can disable some of the logos. But this is just on this module, right? So we just jumped to the cast module, and as you can see, there's more stuff to change in here. Like I said, every single module has something you can change in it. And one of the cool things, for example, here that we can change is when you open the car door normally and the windows being open or closed at the same time, it will stop that. Well, you can disable that. So if you think, hey, I don't want the window to stop lowering while I'm closing the door, you can enable or disable that. You can enable double flashes for emergency brakes, or lots of other stuff, or, you know, headlight washing. So you can disable that if you want. If your car, let's say you don't want it to be like you just wash the car and you don't want it to spray every time, you can change how often it does that. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. For example, you can close windows, sunroof, and folding mirrors after comfort closing of the door, so that's enabled on this one. Or you can also enable it or disable it for long press. So the same thing. So if you want, right, you can hold, you know, press the lock button on the key and it'll close all the windows. You can enable that if it's disabled. Same for the convertible tops, or if your vehicle is a convertible, you can enable that to be opened. And tons and tons of other items you can adjust. How often your rear wiper goes, like every 12 seconds or whatever, that's right here. So as you can see, it could get very granular, but also very cool, as you can do that for every single module. And yes, you can retrofit other modules into this vehicle, as I mentioned, so you can program modules to the vehicle. It's not going to be all of them. Like the CAS unit, you cannot do so because it's based on the VIN number and stuff like that. It has to be registered at BMW, but most other ones, this unit will be able to do. All right, back at the main screen, and the last thing I want to tell you about is the special functions. Some of the stuff we have already been seeing in the OE level functionality, but here is the main menu. These are all of the available functions that this can do. It will be different for each vehicle. Some will be supported, some will not be supported. But quickly going over those, we can do ABS bleeding, we can do AC system initialization, adaptive front lighting. If you have a diesel, it will do the AD blue reset, air fuel reset, suspension air level calibration. I might actually have to play with that one, see what that does exactly, because I do have air suspension in this vehicle. Battery matching, so when you change the battery, hey, that's something you're going to need in most vehicles nowadays. Brake reset, cooling bleeding, crank position sensor, adaptive learning, a ton of different stuff. Look, electric throttle relearn, engine power balance monitoring, gas particulate filter regeneration, gearbox relearn. So if you got a car that's been driven by a grandma and you want it to be more aggressive, or vice versa, you can use that to reset your gearbox, and it will behave much more like what you want it to do. High voltage battery, so this should be something awesome to check out on my BMW i3. Immobilizer reset, injector coding. Anytime you change injectors in BMWs, you must code them, otherwise you will have issues. It's not going to work as expected. Tons of other stuff. You can also change the language on the vehicle, oil maintenance reset, so pretty simple right there. Seat occupancy calibration, steering angle reset, start stop reset. So if you hate that it's always on, hey, you can turn that off in here. Tire reset, TPMS reset, database. and we have even like transport mode and Windows calibration. So as you can see, this thing can do a ton. And that's kind of the reason I really like this unit. It just has everything that you would need. So whether you have one car or you have 5 cars or you work in a shop, this will basically take care of everything. And then once you get those modules for your specific needs, it will unlock even more functionality. So what do I think of this unit? Well, like I said, you can probably tell from the video, I'm very impressed, and this is something I would definitely recommend to somebody that's really into their cars and that has the need for a lot more functionality. If you just have one car and you need to scan it once in a while, this is not the unit for you. It also has 2 years of free updates, so whenever you go in here and you need to update the software, it will do so for 2 years. After that, you will have to pay, or you just don't update the software. So for the next 2 years, you will have the latest software available, and then, well, it's up to you. It also has a 5-year warranty, so this whole unit's covered for 5 years. And of course, that's really good to see. So they are standing behind their product, and this is a good brand, so it's not some cheaper brand that you've never heard of. Overall, love the unit, would definitely recommend it. It is a little bit expensive, but that's to be expected from the quality that you're getting here. One of the first things I noticed when I got this device is how big it is. So this is the box. As you can see, it's quite large. There's not much on it, so let's open it up and see what actually is included with this device. All right, so it comes in this hard case. As you can see, looks very professional, kind of like what other tools would look in your garage or your workshop. Let's open it up. All right, so we have locking buttons here at the top, so we can unlock to get into all of the accessories. What kind of accessories do we have? Well, we have all of these power plugs for different countries. Okay. And of course, we have the actual power supply. So this will be 5 volts at 5 amps. So quite fast, way faster than your phone's power supply, or at least in most cases. And this is USB-C. We also have a standard USB cable. So you have your USB-A to C. All right, good to see. And we have the OBD2 cable right there. And that's going to plug into the device. Of course, we have a user manual, so this will explain how everything works and, you know, all the standard stuff, how to set it up. I'm sure you need to log in and update it and everything else. Yep, just right there. So we're going to have to log in and set it up. I'll do that, update the device. All right, anyway, let's get to the main event. Oh, wow, that's a nice tablet right there. Look at it. This feels beefy. This looks like a quality product right there. This is a rubberized I guess not coating, but rubberized case around it. I don't think it's removable, but very nice for, you know, using in a workshop and things like that. So if it does fall, it's not probably gonna, you know, break right away. We do have a stand in the back here. Oh, that actually feels really nice. It doesn't just flop around. It will stand exactly where you leave it. Awesome. You can also hang this on the steering wheel, of course. We have a camera and an LED in the back here, so you can take pictures and probably illuminate what you're doing. On the top, we have USB-A, USB-C, so you can probably plug in, you know, a keyboard and mouse if you want to use that. Might make it a little bit easier. Of course, we have the OBD2 port that's going to be using that cable that we saw earlier, and the power button. If you have any questions, do let me know down below. I will be keeping this unit for quite a while, so if you want me to test something specific, let me know and I'll try to do that for you and answer in the comments or make a separate video on that topic. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!